Russian president wants to wipe Ukraine off the map and could target other European countries next, says Mark Rutte. The NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has said that Vladimir Putin wants to wipe Ukraine off the map and could come after other parts of Europe next, as he urged Europeans to press their governments to increase defense spending. It is time to shift to a wartime mindset, Rutte told security experts and analysts at the Carnegie Europe think tank in Brussels. He said people should gear themselves for the prospect that Russia might try to use swarms of drones in Europe as it has to deadly effect in Ukraine. Putin is trying to crush our freedom and way of life, Rutte said. The former Dutch Prime Minister listed Russia's attacks on Georgia in 2008, the annexation of Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula in 2014, and the all-out invasion of the country launched almost 3 years ago. How many more wake-up calls do we need? We should be profoundly concerned. I know I am, he said. Russia is preparing for long-time confrontations with Ukraine and with us. Rutte's inaugural speech amid reports that NATO members are considering increasing defense spending to 3% of every member's national budget. It is currently 2%. Such a steep rise might help to placate the incoming US President Donald Trump, who has consistently criticized European countries for relying too heavily on US cash to fund their alliance. The speech on Thursday came just over 2 months after Rutte took office as NATO's top civilian official. He has since toured the capitals of the 32 allies, including a visit to US to meet with Trump. So first and foremost, somehow when you look at it, Europe is not even serious. If you think that European member states only budget 2% of their national budget for their national security, then they have a whole lot of homework to do. Increasing it to 3%, from 2% to 3% is as good as nothing. Yes, because if you go and check countries like China, countries like North Korea, countries like Russia, countries like Iran, some other of these countries, you will see that the money they are budgeting for their national defense or their defense spending is far more than 3%, at least minimum. In today's world we live in, you know that history is repeating itself before our very eyes. Every country at least is supposed to budget minimum 10% of their national budget for their military spending, for their defense spending. Yes, because history is repeating itself before us, in the sense that some of the countries where they are countries today were lands they took away from other people. And you see, before our very eyes, these same things are repeating again. Yes, on one side you see the annexation of Russia of Crimea in 2014, and you see what is ongoing with Ukraine, and the North Korea wants to unite the Korean people, and someday China might wake up and want to take Taiwan. You never can tell. And you see a whole lot of land struggles when it comes to African continent. So history is repeating itself before our very eyes on a daily basis. So every country, their national security and their military spending or defense spending at least is supposed to be 10% of their national budget, for them to be able to make out anything out of that money, for them to be fully prepared in case any country want to invade them, for them to be militarily equipped, technologically equipped, information-wise fully equipped, and fully ready. Because you never can tell. Because this is one of the most important times in history to be alive, because history is unveiling itself or repeating itself before our very eyes on a daily basis. So Europe have to wake up from their slumber. 3% of your national budget for your military spending or defense spending is as good as nothing. At least it should be up to 10% of their national budget. They can do better, because Donald Trump won't even be pleased with their so-called from 2% to 3%. He won't, and he will keep pressing them because he doesn't want US cash to be funding their alliance.